So we are live. We are back again for Refuge Mixdown 002. We've invited along new artists to the label, Manakinz. They're a duo from Glasgow, great producers all around. And outside of that, I don't really know too much about them, which is kind of why we invited them on the show. I've got along Australian native Sondrio, now living in Amsterdam, who's going to help me dig into Manakinz, who they are, get to know them a little bit. Over to you, Sondrio.
Sick. Okay, well, I guess it was last August, and the guys had just dropped their EP on Let's Play House. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I think I got Lampaholics and Baseline were the two tracks that I was like floored with. And then I had a tour of us around Australia in September, and I think I played one of either of those every single show. And then I'm really happy I reached out to the guys because I sent you a message on SoundCloud. Just said, if you had any more, and then you sent me like 40 tracks back. They were all as dope as that first EP. So and I guess this is like such a good opportunity for me because, you know, it's so weird as producers because we're offering hitting each other up online and we don't get a sense of like who people are. You just kind of getting tunes back and forth. So how did you guys first start making music together?
Max, you want to go?
I think it was like late November 2018, I think, that right?
Yeah, just over a year ago, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and I just basically, I've kind of known Harry for, I don't know, I've known him for who he is for about 15 years, but probably known him as a friend for about, I don't know, 9 years or something. Always kind of sent him the odd tune, just hoping that he'd like it and maybe play it. And then kind of around that time, I sent him a couple things and he just really liked them and said, do you want to collaborate? And obviously I was like, absolutely.
Oh, Max, and, you were the nearest guy to me, mate. It was more about geography than music. I was thinking, I'm not getting a lot of bookings at the moment. I should maybe get more tracks out. Who lives near me?
Yeah, strategic.
Yeah, so I was the easy call.
Max, were you producing stuff like yourself before you guys started doing stuff together, or?
Yeah,
But was stuff with there like tracks coming out under a different name or something?
Well, I've always made music under Affy Coleman, because that's just what I DJ'd under for a while in Glasgow. But yeah, I never took it too seriously, like making music. I always just kind of like DJing and partying and kind of just did it for a bit of like fun or whatever. And then sometimes they got signed up and that was cool. But I think working with Harry now is the first time that I've kind of just sat down and gone, this could be something.
Oh, a sexy guy.
Yeah, and obviously I want to hang about with a really sexy idol. But yeah, I think because we got the first thing that we signed was to Let's Play House, like you said, and obviously that's like a great label, and we were both just like, oh, that's great, and that's the first time I felt like, oh, this could actually like be something. So yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
That I'm really interested with both, like with the collaboration between you two, because that like the first EP really grabbed me because you guys combine like samples and your own sounds as if it belongs in the same like world. Like in Lampaholics, there's like that disco like voice sample and stuff, and then that lead sound on top, but it just sounds like it belongs in the same like universe kind of like. And it reminds me a lot of Switch, actually, sometimes. Like, because there's times where you guys put two things together that don't feel like they belong, but they do. Like in Baseline and that final drop where there's like that South American voice just there. So I'm wondering, like, who's the influence with that? Like, when you guys are constructing these tracks, like, what role do you both play?
Take mushrooms. Nice.
Oh, no, not magic mushrooms. So just talking about normal mushrooms. We like mushroom pie.
Portobello.
Okay.
I think probably, well, Harry, the first time that we met up to make music, I mean, I've only worked with like 3 people in the past, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he walked into my house. That's when we first started making tunes, and I was just kind of like, well, how do you want to do this? And he said, well, I've kind of got loads of like just wee ideas for samples and things like that. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we just kind of sat down at the kitchen table, went through a few. I think I had just started making a tune. I had just got this kind of old groove box in the 90s called a Yamaha RM1X. And I just started using that and making that kind of bassline sound. And then we just started putting samples in, and then we pretty much finished the tune. It was like 4 hours or something. And we both kind of went, that was quick, and kind of thought they sounded really good as well. And then we just kind of, we've always worked like that.
Yeah.
Every tune we make is done pretty quickly. But yeah,
I've never worked so quick with anybody else. I think it's almost as if, it's that idea as well, isn't it? You need to finish stuff. You know, it's all very well kind of messing about and having ideas and tunes and whatever, but at least if you finish something. And so we just had that kind of finishing thing quickly. We managed to, each time we met, finish a tune, you know, that day, or maybe just tidy it up the next day. You know, we'd go, okay, it's 90% there. It just needs the slight tweaks or whatever. So it's just like we have a kind of intuitively quick way of working. If we're not both feeling a sound, we just move on quickly to something else rather than labouring stuff, you know?
Or overthinking it, you just kind of go with your gut.
Yeah.
Straight away. And trust
it's not like you think you're making a masterpiece or something, you know. I think some people, and I've been guilty of that as anybody else that makes music, you can sometimes become a bit over precious. You know what I mean? And think, oh man, it could just be. Whereas I think you kind of just learn as you go along, really.
Yeah. It's so easy with underground music to think about making it like more tweaked out, more like more impressive, when it might not serve the end result better. You might just make a total piece of shit like at the end.
I think it's just important to be kind of like true to your own mad idea or whatever, rather than try and design your music for other people. As long as Max and I are both feeling it, I'm positive about it, you know. And the strange thing is, and Max and I have spoken about this quite a lot as well, is a lot of tunes that we've made that we personally felt are a wee bit of a triumph for us. We've thought, fuck, that's really good. How did we even do that? You know, and the tunes that people are signing. You know, we're kind of like, shit, this is weird. No, we're happy at what people have signed and we think it's all worthwhile, but there's other ones that are our personal favourites that we're like, that's weird that, you know, nobody's picked up on that one, where it's the one that we have felt that was a wee bit special, you know. It's weird. You can never second guess the public.
That's super interesting. I've had my own experience with that because I had to start running my own label, Romantics, to put my stuff out, because I would send stuff to labels and they'd be like, this needs a vocal, like singing on it, or change this part. And I just got to the point where I was like, nah, you're wrong. Just started it myself. So maybe you guys need to do that too. But at least it's good that you have the work rate where clearly you're not thinking like, oh, we want to be on this label or on that label. You're just working. And you've got all this music, and you can get someone else to go in there and go, okay, I'll take these 3 tracks or something.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice because we were like super productive for quite a long time there, and until this came along, and we were just thinking, wow. And it was like a surprise. Max came round yesterday, and he said to me, do you remember the last thing we were working on? And I'm like, yeah, kind of vaguely. It was like a theme type thing. And then he played it. But it's a bit like hearing something that someone else has done. you can kind of hear it with fresh ears, and it was like that. Oh, that's really good, actually. You know, you remember it kind of being nice at the time, but I was kind of quite blown away by how I would think, oh, I would play that. I would play that in a club. If somebody sent me that, I would like that. And so it's quite a good buzz to do stuff that they're buzzed at. And I'm lucky because I have a residency every Saturday in Glasgow, and I think I played every single track we've made at some point in a club. And being able to do it kind of anonymously, whereby the audiences get no idea. Yeah. So you're kind of road testing it a bit, you know, you're kind of like, oh yes, this is good. And sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised by tracks that I thought, that's quite good, you know what I mean? Maybe it's all right. And, well, you know how it is yourself if you DJ, sometimes it's all about the moment in time. Sometimes stuff just sounds right, doesn't it? Yeah. It just gels in that moment. We've all gone and asked the DJ what a tune was and thought, that's fucking amazing. That's and then every time I do. You go home, you download it, and you go, it's all right.
Yeah, it's true. It's so funny how that context is like so important and that's why it's important to like finish stuff and just be happy with how it is. But it's hard to do in practice. Like, I'm definitely in a period now where I'm just like overthinking everything, and but sometimes, you know, that naturally comes and passes with production, you know, as you go in. Some things become harder, some things become easier, and it just keeps changing. So
we're underthinkers.
Yeah. Harry, you said something quite interesting that I'd like to dig into, and Max, I'd love to get your take on it, where you were talking about workflow and how it's changed, obviously, with the current climate and situation as opposed to what it was. Do you think your workflow's changed significantly in the way you're approaching music now, or is it pretty same?
I don't really know because we were meeting, Max and I were meeting, maybe we both had like maybe 6 weeks off in the summer, didn't we? Like 5-6 weeks where we were both away. But apart from that, maybe 2 to 3, sometimes 4 afternoons a week. I normally work from maybe like 2 or 3 in the afternoon to about 6 or 7 in the evening. Yeah. But usually in that time we could get a tune done. And that was, we just get into a kind of routine of just, because, I don't know, what the fuck happened? We aligned ourselves with a certain kind of, right, this is just how we do it. Yeah. Instead of fucking about too much, you know what I mean? We just thought, right, okay. And it's almost like we're making the tune and almost semi-arranging it in our heads at the same time. Really, aren't we? We're kind of like going, okay, that's the second element, that's the third element, maybe something else there. But those are all the bits you're adding. And then when we start to arrange, it's just like you put the icing on it a bit. Yeah. Okay. You know, when you're starting to arrange, you go, okay, there's the basic arrangement, but maybe it needs something more exciting to take you to that part or something. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. It's like everybody has their own way, don't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Basically, we'll normally. Oh, sorry.
No, jump in, mate.
I was going to say we normally kind of will build up like drums first, so like the actual the danceable element of the track is really strong first, and then maybe put in a bass line, and then I'll just start messing about with stuff and get a few wee melodies and whatever. Harry's got a really good ear. If I'm just kind of noodling away in the keyboard or whatever, he can just be like, hang on, that was good. And then I'll just be like, oh, that one, yeah. And then we'll just lay that down. And then once we've got the kind of the body of it there, just start. We kind of do it in a way, we've got a good system where we'll just like basically copy everything for about 6.5 minutes and then just chip into it and just take things away.
Yeah,
cool. Kind of like subtractive way of making a tune.
Yeah,
right. So you're kind of subtracting.
Yeah, that's
it must work well for you guys because you're so good at like little, like especially the Let's Play house tracks. Like for me playing them out in the club, it was just like they're bangers that you're not like ashamed to play. You know, like the way they build and the sounds you guys use is so interesting. As I said, like in bass line with that like South American voice at the end. It's like you get this massive payoff, but it's not like a big crash cymbal or something. It's just a like vocal sample.
You know, the funny thing is we work so quick that sometimes, and we give a track such bonkers names as well, because we have a laugh. We usually sit about at the end of the day and we keep mad notes of mad names that we like, but we can never remember what anything is. So see, even the tracks you're saying, I don't even know which tracks they are.
I'm the same problem.
You, Max?
I'm the same.
I've got so many. I'm like, baseline. Oh, what was that like again?
That's so good. Max, you said a few cool things that again I'd like to draw back on a little bit was in your process of kind of building out that record and you know that process of subtraction almost for you guys. What type of kit are you guys using right now, and is there any key pieces of kit that you kind of swear by, saying this is my one, or do you kind of flip flap between some stuff?
I think like when we first started, like I said, I had that bit of hardware, and we've maybe used, like I've also got an Ovation
I'm just going to get
like a wee thing. Right, no worries. Yeah, we've kind of used those things in like just a handful of tracks, but to be honest with you, it's mainly just Ableton, like just Ableton effects, Ableton synths. It's mainly like the samples, I think. There's a few like VST synths that we use, but I don't like swear by any of them. Like I'll maybe like download one.
Semi, Max.
Like,
semi.
Yeah.
You,
one.
Semi in every tune.
So there's the echo effect in Ableton 10. That's the kind of like delay effect, and we call it the wee semi because it's got like a wee
semicircle
on it.
And it's also Scottish. It's also Scottish slang for like you don't have a hard on. You're just getting a wee bit of wreck. So they call it a wee semi here.
That's class. How good.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh God, I've got a wee semi here.
That's massive.
And so it's like a small semicircle. We call it a wee semi.
How good.
I find that echo effect in Ableton so hard to control, so it's good if you're making good use of it. I just like it's so
I mean, I think we got the I think it's called the audio thing is the company the space outer space, the kind of Roland space
the
echo
space
emulator
echo
thing.
type thing.
Yeah, I mean we were using that, and then we got Ableton 10, and we were just like fanning about as we do, and I was like, what's that effect? And then just kind of dragged it in, and then just started messing about with that, and we thought that actually sounds a bit better than the space echo that we had. So yeah, that's probably something that we will turn to in most tracks, just to get a bit kind of weird without being too weird. But yeah, other than that, mainly Ableton stuff.
Yeah, right. That's awesome to hear. I know there's a lot of gearheads out there that swear by only hardware kit or only, you know, using this and taking it back to its roots and, you know, trying to like skin a goat to get, you know, to get the right thing for your drum kit. It's nice to know that you guys are working getting those out of the box ideas and kind of recreating things within the boundaries that people are giving you. That's really awesome to hear. So with Luke was talking about it a little bit around kind of the sampling. Obviously you guys sample not run of the mill stuff, which is super nice for me, and kind of what kind of drew me to your music. Lampaholics specifically is a monster tune. I've been playing it all over Sydney and Melbourne. Mm-hmm. What type of music, or I guess artists, genres really kick, you know, a sample for you guys going, okay, that's something that, you know, is there like, because we know how house everyone jumps into like soul and disco and, you know, I mean, quite general ways to pull out samples. Is there anything that you guys are referencing pretty heavily without giving too much away, obviously?
Do you want me to do this?
Yeah, you go.
When I first started making tunes, I'm not a musician or anything. I can't play an instrument. I can't engineer. Max does everything technical. I can only get ideas across by giving people a thing, you know, a musical sound. And so when I first went into the studio, a guy said to me, do you want to go and make a record? And I was like, I can't play any instruments or whatever, but it was maybe the early 90s or to mid 90s. So he said, I'll pay for you to go in. And so I just took in a pile of records and played them to these guys and said, see this bit here? Da, 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 how could you do that? And they were musicians. I never realised at the time, they were really clever, gifted guys, do you know what I mean? And they did an amazing work ethic. So what I would do was I had a digital audio tape recorder. And so I've always bought records. I've got fucking thousands of records. And so I'd go through records when my kids were really young at night, you know, and in bed. I would go through all my records, and you know how in vinyl you can see all the wee bits where the breakdowns are and whatever.
Yeah.
And I just amassed loads and loads of dats of ideas like that. But at that time, the technology wasn't there like Ableton, you know, now to manipulate, because at that time you only had like whatever 15 seconds sampling time or whatever. But I used to spend hours just compiling digital audio tapes. And so I've got a big box of them going from like 1990 to, I stopped doing it maybe when in the the late 90s or 2000s or whatever. And then, you know, I kind of found them again. And so quite often if we were stuck for ideas, I would just go through an old DAT and record all these. So I might have like 60 things on a DAT. It might be drum beats, it might be snippets of vocal or just tones. You know what I mean? That you can make an instrument from or whatever. So that's where I got all samples. Cool. But I've been collecting them in my mind for years, you know.
So
that's so awesome to have like an archive of that stuff and from the past as well. So it'd be a surprise for you even going through this.
Oh yeah, completely. For me, it's like brand new again. Because Max would say, "What is it?" And I'm like, I can't fucking remember. I was stoned out my nut one night, and I just going through a pile of records and I recorded it in. I have no fucking idea what it is. I just thought, oh, that'd be good.
That's awesome. There's something about that. Like just before I left to come here, I got a MPC, and so I had it set up in my room with my turntable.
Yeah.
I was just putting up records of my own and like sampling it. It's weird. It's like if I pull things off the internet to sample, often I'll be like playing a project. I might be like sampling YouTube or something, but you're kind of just like prospecting for gold. Or else when you put a record on or something, you're really listening.
Yeah.
Right. You take the time to go, this is the bit I want to take. And then you build something around that. And that's something that's like, I don't know if I can emulate that on the computer. It's awesome that you have that archive of stuff.
Oh, I've got a big box of them, man. But the thing is, we've only actually used about maybe 6 or 7 of them, and it must have like 100 or more. Wow. But there's enough in each one to get stuff that Max can then add other stuff to, and while he's doing that, it can maybe makes you think of something else. Oh, that might be good with this as well. Because, you know, I've DJed for so long, you know that way you get into the way of thought. You play me one record, like say Max and I did a back-to-back set last night. I love playing off people because when I hear somebody playing one thing, I think, oh, if they like this, they might like this. So it's quite good, you know, that way. It's like music. When I was growing up, it was a thing, you know, someone said, oh, I don't like reggae, but I like this tune. You'd think, well, if you like that tune, you're going to like this tune as well.
Yeah, that
and when people worked in record shops, the guys that worked in record shops, they knew your taste. They could home in and, oh, so-and-so like this. And it's that kind of idea, you know, it's like, yeah, you just want to introduce people to new stuff, or stuff they haven't heard.
Yeah. I think that's really a big part of like with you guys and your sound is that like, it's that DJ mentality, like essence in the tunes that makes it fun, you know, and the fact you guys aren't taking it too seriously either with the hit rate of like what you've made. I don't know. It's just
this is the most serious you're ever going to see us. We are mental.
That's cool. That's what I mean. It's like, I'm sure you guys are making it.
He knows I'm right.
Oh God, how good! How good.
No, we do. We have such a laugh when we work together as well, which is an amazing thing, isn't it, Max? We have really good fun doing it. It's like we share a similar. I don't know if you guys get. Do you get Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer?
No.
Over there, these comedians. No, we're both really into certain types of comedy and shit like that we both, and Max also does kind of comedy type stuff as well, you know what I mean? But we make each other laugh a lot.
Yeah, right. Max, is that
for making tunes?
Yeah.
Max,
which is good,
about that a little
bit.
bit.
What was that, sorry?
Talk to us about your comedy.
Oh, well, I mean, Harry's being very generous with that term, but like basically over the... but I mean, like over the years, I've DJ'd in Glasgow, but I've done like pub quizzes and host bingo nights and stuff like that, but it's always as a different character. Like the one I've done most recently is a New York lounge singer called Vincent Stensland, and my mate Shaw plays the guitar, and I've got like a wee looping station, and people just like give us suggestions for songs, and then I'll make up the song on the spot. And I've done that all through my life. I don't know why I do it. I just really love doing it, and
because you have a talent for it. He's so fucking good at it.
I'm not going to do that just now because I'll probably fuck it up and looking at it. But like, I've done it loads. And yeah, I've had lots of like I used to host a quiz on a Monday night, and we'd have like the night that I used to do Sunday Circus on the Sunday. So obviously that went on from like Sunday. Normally wouldn't go to bed, stay up until Monday night, and then I was hosting a quiz pretending to be Billy Connolly. So I've always just done stupid stuff. So working with Harry's fun because he's also a big silly idiot, and we just sit and talk so much shit and make tunes. So it's pretty great.
That's cool. Well, I mean,
I'll put some eyes.
You know, from my side, and Luke, you know, maybe you'll agree with me here. Just having this chat and kind of understanding your internal friendship banter, the way you pick samples up, and that's class. Yeah, that's tops. I'm so into it. Well, it's just great to kind of see how your process is, and both of your personalities, and why your music is the way it is. That's super cool.
No.
It's good banter.
We have a laugh,
guys. Quick
we like
one.
to laugh.
I'm just gonna pause the interview for a second because it only gives me 40 minutes to Zoom in one sitting. Okay. So I'm gonna send you a link on email quickly. So just sit tight so we can restart the timer. So I'm gonna end it, and I'll send you a link, and then we'll jump back on.
Okay.
So, Harry, you were saying earlier that you've had a residency at Sub Club, and Max, you said you used to run some Sunday parties. From being a club DJs, how are you seeing club culture bounce back from obviously the current climate, or do you think it's going to be completely different? Do you think it's going to take some time to rebuild? Kind of, what are your thoughts on all of that?
I'm not a pessimist, but I would say I'm probably a realist. I wonder, I just wonder. I think a lot of people say this will happen, that will happen, and you find this a lot in life with people that imagine they know what the future holds in store, but nobody does really, do they? It's like we just got to take it as it comes. And I mean, personally, when this first started, I kind of thought, oh, it probably won't last long, because this is how I make my living. I'm self-employed. I'm getting no money, from now on. I think it's going to be at least a year I imagine, before any kind of normality returns. And already they're saying that there's clubs open in China. We were supposed to be playing in China just when this kicked off. We just got visas with 3 gigs in China, and then this whole thing kicked off, and we were like, holy fucking shit. And because we were getting paid a lot of money, a lot more money than we would to play in the UK or whatever. And you're just like, but then at the end of the day, you think, well, it's people's lives. I think clubs and all these kind of businesses are going to be the last to reopen.
Yeah.
And this is the reality of life, and just accept it and get on with it and realise that, you know, I mean, I've often felt that way anyway. You're a DJ, man. It's a fucking mad job. You know what I mean? To get paid for playing other people's records. It's quite a privilege, really. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, definitely.
Anybody who gets ahead in that, you've lucked into something amazing there. You know, because there's another 20 people standing behind you that are just as good. You know, that can do the same job as you and would love that opportunity. So I feel like this is a big tap in my shoulder I've always been expecting, going, right, mate.
Hopefully not. I don't know.
Next.
Yeah.
It's weird because we just moved to Amsterdam from Sydney. Me and my partner in March, and like, yeah, it was weird. All our family was kind of like, so you're gonna come back home now? You know, it's like fuck. Well, if I was back in Sydney, I'd be on welfare I wouldn't be DJing. I was doing like a retail job a few days a week. I wouldn't be doing that either. So I was like, I'd actually rather be stuck here. And at least I think it's true. It could be ages before things go back to any kind of normality. But I think the one thing that'll be interesting is that DJs probably won't be able to tour for even longer. So like clubs will open, but it'll probably only be local artists playing in these clubs. So it's going to be, I think that'll have positive effects for, I don't know. It seems in Glasgow, like the local artists are supported more, and there's like a scene there. And the UK's always been good city by city for that, I think. But yeah, at least compared to Australia, because Australia doesn't have that kind of mentality at all.
No. I played at a thing in Sydney called Co-op. It was run by British guys that they went over with Endemol Television to film celebrities in the jungle or something like that, and they ended up staying. But I played 2 years in a row at their birthday parties. Two British guys. It was cool as fuck though. Do you know the weird thing about it was, and when I played in Melbourne, I'd say 20 to 30% of the crowd were Scottish.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just really weird, all these Scottish people in Australia. Yeah, it's really strange. You know, people coming out all night going, "Hey, dude," you laugh.
Max, would love to hear your thoughts on the club culture and how you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of maybe talking about it yesterday. I mean, I don't know. It's like Harry says, you just don't know. I mean, it could bounce back straight away, or people might have taken this time to reassess what they're doing, and maybe they'll start being more focused on different things or whatever. I don't know. I mean, personally, I think it will probably just go back to the way it was. It will just take, it'll just take X amount of time. Like, I don't see it changing anything wildly. Not in club culture anyway. I think maybe other things going on in the world that might change, but club culture, I think, is always kind of been there.
I think people are sociable by nature, aren't they?
Yeah.
And our brains are hardwired to enjoy music, even in the womb or something. You know, it's like, I read some book that someone got me for my birthday recently, and it's about a guy that had been a musician and he'd been a record producer, and then he gave it up and he became a neuroscientist. And, music's the only art form that kind of tickles the whole brain. Your whole brain lights up to music, and other art forms don't really do that. So I think there's something really basic or primal about music that's not going to go away,
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I I'm in agreement. I think, you know, we don't really know. It's not ever something that anyone could have
I
predicted.
think Max offended Sondrio there. He's gone away. Max, what did you say?
I think he's been kicked.
Oh, he's so insulted. He'll be like that. Oh, he's so rude, that Max.
I have that effect in people most of the time.
Yeah, I've just shot him back a link. It should be on very, very shortly.
It's a funny thing though, none of us can really know, can we? It's like, what will happen? I think what Max says is right. Eventually, we probably will cautiously go back to that because it's kind of what people have done for centuries, isn't it? At the end of the week, you know, if you're working a 9 to 5 or doing whatever, you want to go out on a Friday night or a Saturday night and kind of lose yourself a wee bit in something. That is beyond words or something, but it's just a kind of letting yourself go a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think you know, I'm a product of club culture, definitely. You know, going out when I was super young. My old man used to play in a band, in a salsa band, and you know, I was very young, 5, 6 years old, spending time in nightclubs and like listening to, you know, the salsa guys at late night. And it wasn't out of, you know, he wanted me to be in those scenarios, but at that time, you know, he needed to keep me close, to keep me safe. And, you know, but I've got a different appreciation for club culture. You know, it's kind of my most fondest memories of just being in those scenarios, you know, is kind of why I love DJing and why I love connecting with guys like yourselves and guys like Sondrio. Just, you know, everyone's bringing something to the table. Everyone's got a new, different experience into why. And I think that's what's special.
I think there's something, you know, see when you're a child, I can remember like being in my bed on a Saturday night, my mum and dad were downstairs and they'd maybe have friends around who would have drinks and you could hear all these adults laughing and everything that, you know, and you thought, oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun down there. I'd love to get involved with that shit. And then I can remember taking my son and you know, going on a family holiday one year. And my son, you know, hanging out in a bar in Portugal where they just let kids hang about all night. And his mum and my daughter going away back home to bed. They're knackered. Ruby was still so young. She was breastfeeding. So Jasper's just sitting in the bar with me. And he's like 7 or 8 and his big wide eyes looking about. Everybody's steaming. They're giving him as much Coca-Cola as he can drink. And it just goes, this is great, man. This is just like a whole new world, isn't it? That side of adults when you're getting a bit loose, that children, you know, sometimes you might get to see it in a bad way, but when you get to see it in quite a good way, you can't wait to be a part of that.
100%.
Really, you're like, fucking yes.
So talking about, I guess, club culture and residencies, when did you guys start your residencies or you know, really start DJing and kind of connect on that level?
I think, well, I started doing the Sunday Circus residency in 2007 and that went on for 9 years. But before that, I kind of played at a few different places in Glasgow, but that was the first kind of like big thing that I was a part of. And then I met Harry through that. I think we had him playing at a couple of our nights, and then I think that is that right? Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, we met at T in the Park before that, but I didn't know it was you.
Oh, we promised not to talk about that.
I feel like there's a story here.
It wasn't in the toilets. It wasn't the toilets.
We should never speak about that day.
It was an amicable meet.
It was funny. Like I was basically at T in the Park, which is like a big festival, or it was a big festival in Scotland, and Harry was DJing, and I was camping with my mates, and we just stayed up the night before, and I made Harry and Dominic like a kind of activity book, like just full of mad stupid shit, like help Harry find Dominic and like a word search. And I wrote him a big letter at the start, and I just kind of handed it to him when he was DJing, and I was like, Harry, this is for you, man. And then like just fizzed away into the crowd. And then you still got it, don't you? You've got it.
Yeah, I fucking got it here. Years later, after we'd actually known each other for a wee while, he said, "Do you ever remember this young guy at Tina Park giving you this mad homemade diary thing? Did you not been a tent in acid or something?" And I was like, "That, yes," and I still have it. He's like, "That was me."
How funny.
Actually, it's to hand.
No,
I thought it was so funny at the time because I never read it. I was with my then partner and my kids, and so I just stuck it in my record bag, you know what I mean, and never really thought of it. And then when it was like emptying it, I started reading it and I thought, this is hilarious. And I kept it and I showed it to everybody. It's like, look at this thing this guy gave me.
How good.
It's brilliant. He'd crossword puzzles, he'd stories, he'd done posters in it. It was just like, wow, this is brilliant.
That's funny. I love that.
Oh, that's cool. Do you know what? Do you want to see it?
Yeah, bring it up on camera. He's got it so handy. Max is in absolute bits.
Oh no. This is exactly what wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah.
No. I'll just show you something. Do not read this side. And so you have to turn it upside down and read from the other side.
Yeah, right. Instructions, I love it.
Yeah, so it reads backwards as well. It's read backwards. The first part is a big long story. I won't embarrass you, Max. But
Too late, I think. Too late.
We'll get to the games.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. That's class.
No, Harry, no.
No moral spare. There's a word search
good.
as well, a quick word search before we go.
It's so sick you guys have that story like way before you started doing this stuff together.
Wow.
No. It was funny because I didn't know at that time because it was actually, funnily enough, it was like years later at Tina Park we were hanging out, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you came back to me, and I think that was the night you said to me, "Oh my God, do you remember the guy giving you this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got it." And you're like, "Holy shit, have you?" I was like, because I kept it. I keep every. I mean, I'm a real hoarder, but the stuff that I really like, you know what I mean. I'll never throw it away.
Yeah, right. It's good though, you know. It's I think it's class. It's nice to kind of see the connect of Max's free-spirited mind and
To my Presbyterianism.
Yeah.
No, it was just funny but then I think before you told me that we were already kind of talking online or whatever and having a laugh. I think we've just got a similar sense of humour. We've got a similar sense of the absurd, and we kind of don't take ourselves too seriously.
Well, yeah, I mean, you need to, because otherwise it's not fun. On the serious note, or not taking things too seriously, rather. I guess, what's your opinion around the vinyl versus controller versus Ableton, or real DJs only play vinyl? Like, how do you guys feel about all of that?
It's yet another divisive thing that people invent because they imagine that they have a superior idea to someone else. I just think, do what you want, man. You know, whatever suits you, do it. You know, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat or whatever. it's like, for me, when I listen to music, really it's only what hits my ears. It's nothing, or my head or my mind or my body. It's nothing to do with the format.
Yeah.
It's
probably
more
the
the
most
environment.
boring thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
more
the
the
most boring
environment.
argument ever.
And I'm into good sound, though. I'm into good sound quality. But the medium isn't the thing. I just think, yeah, I mean, hey, look at my fucking house. I've got thousands of fucking records. And I see people waffling on about this and that about records. Yeah, I use Serato because it suits me. I'm organised in it. I can do my thing in it. And the music, it's, yeah, do your own thing. Some people into black and white photography. There's some people into whatever, screen printing, monotone, whatever. It's, do what you want. I just think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all valid.
Yeah.
It's all valid for me. It's just music. It's just ways of expressing yourself. And, let's face it, yeah, vinyl's great, but how many kids today could afford 2 Technics, a mixer, and a vinyl habit? I mean, I fucking struggled to even pay for the amount of stuff I buy in WAV or whatever from online record stores. Plus, I get sent a shitload of stuff for free. You know what I mean? And I still spend. I used to have a budget, say in the mid-90s, my budget for records was £100 a week then. I couldn't afford that now. I just don't make enough money. At that time I probably was making enough money. I could set aside, and regularly if I went to London I could easily spend twice that. And vinyl, it's just so expensive, and it's not necessarily good for the planet either. When all said and done, it's like, for me, music is just, however I get it, it's, if I like it, I like it, that way.
Yeah, definitely.
You have that same reaction whether it's like on Beatport or it's in a record store. If you like something, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what format it's on.
If anything, I'd rather give my business to like more local things and more organic things, if you know what I mean, rather than, I don't know, buy coffee from Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever. I'm kind of more willing to go for the smaller operators, or somewhere, Bandcamp or something.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's slightly more creative, and it's given a platform for more creativity and more stuff that's going to be left fielded for me more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Max, what's your thoughts on the DJs and controllers, and is that very in line with Harry's thoughts?
I'm just pretty much what Harry said. Like I'm a big fan of obviously high sound quality in a club, but the way that sound is getting to the speakers, I couldn't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, if you're playing something off a vinyl or off a digital file, it doesn't matter. If there's a club for people dancing and like feeling what you're doing, then why should it ever matter how that's happening? It's happening. Just be like thankful that that's happening and enjoy it. Don't sit there stroking your chin and looking over the DJ booth like, oh, that's like, who cares, man? If you care about that, then like, why even do it? Like, just you shouldn't be DJing. You shouldn't be at a club. Just go and have fun. Like, if you're not going
just
somewhere,
go and fucking hang out with a bunch of other geeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's going to be all guys, isn't it?
Yeah, it reminds me of like back in my hometown when like prog house, like Sasha type stuff was big, and they'd be begging online for the promoter, like, all this stuff you book is shit, like you got to get X artists, you know what I mean? Like get bloody Hernan in or something. Then they finally book Hernan, and you never see any of those dudes at the fucking gig. They're just all online.
Classic.
I think people can get too hung up. That way, if you're really passionate about music and you like music, it wouldn't matter what format you heard it on. If it was a tune that struck a chord with you, you'd be like, wow, what the fuck is that? Yeah. I will get that tune any way I can in whatever format, because I just want to play it to other people. It's like, I think there can be, but it's like in everything, isn't there? There's people that just get a wee bit elitist.
Always, you'll always get that, but it's good to hear that, you know, there's people that like yourselves that have been in both club culture, the production game from different, you know, times, and still holding that trueness of it's music. As long as you're playing it and dancing and happy and it's bringing the right type of emotion, then who cares, Rick?
Do you know, I've often thought it's a pain in the fucking arse to use Serato, because when you go to other gigs or festivals or whatever, the freakiest part of the night is putting that shit in.
Oh, yeah.
And see, once it's in and it's up and running, I'm comfortable, but I'm so anal and I have such a fucking OCD organising thing. My crates, my whole method of filing is totally unique to me. And so I have a fear, you know, I know that I should probably just move to memory sticks, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to miss all those colours, and I can read tracks, do you know what I mean? Like from the waveforms and the frequencies and whatever. So for me, it's kind of like a language. And although I'm just very loath to move away from it, although I feel that I'm being forced to by technology moving on or whatever, but I'm a bit like, oh shit, I've spent ages organising crates. I use smart crates, I cross-reference records. You've never seen an iTunes like mine. It's the most anally OCD fucking iTunes you've ever seen in your life.
I can vouch
It's
for
like
that.
I tag everything because I know that just one thing will spark my memory. I'll go, oh, what was that tune again? Right, it was an E or whatever, you know what I mean? I'll remember something about it. And I got it about August, do you know what I mean? And I can use all these search functions. And I love that. So it kind of, but everybody has their own way of doing everything, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
So many different ways you can organise it
all. Well, we're kind of almost at the end, which is, you know, unfortunate because we've had a top chat. It's been really great. Kind of getting.
Max and I are going to stay on here and get naked.
Yeah. If that's your workflow, then
if you like.
Why have I been so embarrassed in this fucking interview, man?
It's his birthday at midnight.
Oh, is it?
It's Max's birthday at midnight.
It's my birthday now.
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Max.
Happy birthday, man. That's fun.
Thank you.
Well, look, I'll throw this one to you first, and then back to Harry. Is there any tips that you'd throw to any producers or DJs trying to get residencies in clubs that they admire or adore? Anything that you'd kind of say, this is what you need to do?
Well, I don't know. I guess I would probably, wear a hat.
Already there.
That is it.
I don't know. I probably think, like, thinking about how I did it. I think if you really like something, and obviously this is a story heard around the world a million times, but if you really like house music, you go to clubs, and if you really, really like it, you're there all the time. And if you're there all the time, you end up hanging out with people like, you know, that own clubs or DJ there, and you get to know them. And if you are a producer and you're making something that you believe is of worth and it's going to be amazing if it's heard in a club sound system, and you get to that point where you're friendly enough with someone that's a bit in the know to say, please listen to this, I think it's really good, what do you think? That's all it takes, I think. If you have the product, I'm a believer that the cream will always rise to the crop eventually, as long as you're consistent with it. And for me, I've never been consistent with it. Like Harry was saying, like I do some comedy stuff or whatever you want to call it. I also do acting. I do a bit of writing, photography. I've always just moved a bit from different creative things. But since working with Harry, I've been really focused on one thing. And I think because of that, we've had, you know, quite a few signings now. And I think people are really focused on our music, because once it's out there, people kind of go, oh yeah, that is quite good. And then they might be interested in what you're doing as well. So I think what I would say in summary is just go out loads and have a good time, and good stuff will happen for you.
Awesome. Harry, thoughts?
Harry?
Oh, what was the question again?
Any tips for young DJ producers trying to get
Wear a
resident?
hat.
Yeah. I am a resident.
No. What would I say? I don't know. I suppose I grew up in a time where it's kind of something inside you, isn't it? It's like I need to just be creative or express yourself in a certain way. And I think that, you know, as young DJs, you could give the wrong signal if you said, do this, do that, have a logo, be on Instagram. I don't fucking know. I think a lot of things in the creative world it's a lottery, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
a little bit.
about being in the right place at the right time, and it's luck and timing, and so much of it is that. But it's just maybe doing what you believe in and trying to stay with that. And I'm not saying that is the right way. I think that's maybe just the way I've ended up being lucky enough to follow. But other people maybe, you know, I've done shitty corporate gigs as well, you know what I mean, when you're getting paid a fortune. But it's kind of like your heart sinks at these things. It takes you know, you go, I'm getting paid like 5 times what I get paid for doing a gig that I'd really enjoy.
Right.
And
yeah,
so
it's true. It's like a bullet in the chest when you I had this bar gig in Sydney before I was leaving that I was doing like twice a month, and I just like, it was 3 hours, and it was literally like from the first play, like 2 hours 59, 2 hours 58. Like, I fucking hated it.
It's the worst. That's like,
and I needed the money, but it just like, I even took a month off because I told my girlfriend, I was like, my soul can't.
Yeah.
It hurts to play at this pub. It's fucking shit. Like,
it's the best job in the world if you can get to do it, you know, on your terms. Or, you know, it's like, what's his name? It's like edutainment. You can't get too far up your own arse and think, I know best, or do. You've got to, it's like anything, isn't it? Trying to introduce people to something new that you think's cool in a way that they might, you know, like.
Yeah. And sometimes you get the fun commercial like challenge. Like I'd go to a gay party in Sydney and hear some like clone like Jack record or whatever, and then take it to a club that has like Duke Jamon playing normally or something, and play that same record, and it goes off. You're like, yes, I got like one across. And there probably was like one kid in that crowd that heard that was just like, you know, that's what it's all about.
It's always interesting, you know. It's like, I suppose it's like cherry picking the stuff that you like, that you think at that moment in time might sound right for people. And it's like, you know, if you watch something like a Quentin Tarantino film, not that I'm a big expert, but I can see all the references and everything he does to older films or whatever. He's cherry picked great wee scenarios and he's put them all together in a really entertaining format. You know what I mean? But you can't help but applaud. It's not exactly the most original. It's like the best of everything. He's kind of taken all the wee bits, hasn't he? And he's kind of made them into a kind of narrative. And you go, that's clever as fuck.
I'm so happy you said that, because I would 100% describe Manakinz as Tarantino-esque, like, especially that fucking first EP. That's what it is, dude. It's like,
that's too gracious.
It's like this guy, but it's techno, but there's this South American voice like on the drop. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like, but it's just you guys having fun. It's sick. I love it.
How good?
Oh, it's good. I mean,
I was the first fan and the biggest, so don't.
He was.
He get me, okay?
He's like, hey, check these 41 demos out. I said, all right.
I know. The highlight for us is, you know, the guy Andrew Weatherall that died recently, the British DJ.
Yeah.
You know, I sent Andrew the stuff and he phoned me up one Saturday, and then when I phoned Max, he's like, I could just die and go to heaven. And Andrew was just like, man, these are great. These are brilliant, so blah, 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 blah. And he's like a guy that, you know, I don't know if Andrew's ever toured Australia or whatever, but he's like so kind of well respected in the UK, just as being a kind of, he could have gone the superstar DJ route. He produced Primal Scream's first big album and do. You know what I mean? And the Happy Mondays and whatever, but he always just ploughed his own furrow. So he's a person, I think, in the UK that a lot of people that are kind of quite into the music had shitloads of respect for Andrew, because he was just that guy that just did his own thing. And whether, you know, you're into techno or whatever, he could be very contrary as well. You could go to a night and he'd play all techno, but it'd be like, holy fuck, this guy's just got a kind of a thing. And for him to say he liked it for us was like, wow, we were just over the moon. You know what I mean? Andrew Weatherall actually phoning me to say,
that's class.
I mean, I know the guy, but he's like, I can't write this down. I need to phone and tell you, do. We were just like so chuffed.
He actually got to play, he played at the Opera House in Sydney. I didn't get to go to the gig, but I think that was last year. So it's really nice that he got to do that before he...
Yeah. And he was such a lovely character and so well loved. You know, he was just like one of these guys, anybody he met, you just had to respect his individuality, and he was just a kind of quite a cool character, Andrew. So for us, that was a big deal. And maybe, you know, sometimes if you do anything like creative or whatever, sometimes it's a bit like, hey, mum, look at me. You know, you just want a wee pat in the back and someone to say, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You know, because, sometimes it can be like beating your head off a brick wall, you know, you're like, oh God, nobody likes this stuff.
Yeah,
totally. One comment like that can give you the energy to keep going for like the next 10 years. He was
pretty much the first guy to get back to us. I think after we sent out the first bunch of demos, we didn't hear anything for like 2-3 weeks, and we just thought, maybe we just have no idea. Maybe this is all shit. And then Harry phoned me and just said, Andrew Weatherall just been in the phone, says that he played out 5 of our tracks back to back and everyone was going mental. And I was just sitting there like, what? That's insane. Like, that's absolutely insane. Yeah.
Right. For us, it was the ultimate compliment. You know, we just thought, well, it doesn't, you know, it's like, I think everybody, if you do something like this, you're used to getting doors slammed in your face or people, you know, that's, and I'm the same as well, and I say that to Max all the time. I get sent hundreds of promos. I kind of speed listen, you know, and I'm maybe missing stuff, but to a certain extent, I can always pick it up later. But I think there's not enough hours in a day for me to go through all the music. So sometimes I'll listen to music that I'll go, it's kind of cool, it's nice, but would I play it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you've got to have that line, otherwise...
Yeah, I've only got 2-3 hours to play a week. What am I going to get? I want to cram as much good new shit in there as I possibly can. You know, and I'm lucky to have a gig where I get to play 80-90% new stuff, you know, most weeks.
Well, speaking of new stuff, what's coming up for Manakinz? Releases and things.
We had, what's his name? Ben Gamori. He's doing a couple of EPs. He's a guy got a label here called Monologues. And he was talking about maybe even doing an album with us and individually one with Max as well. My son Jasper's got a label, Mitchell Street, where Jasper wants to do an album. I think the whole record industry is a bit up in the air at the moment, so who knows? But we started making a couple of like more down-tempo tracks with the idea of making something a bit more varied for an album rather than strictly dance floor orientated. So that's what we've been doing most recently. And then we've got a thing what's that label again, Mike? Future Boogie?
Future Boogie, yeah.
Thing coming out in Future Boogie, and is that it? I can't remember.
That's it. I think
that's about it. And I think we're talking about trying to do a Bandcamp. Do you guys know about Bandcamp?
Yeah. I use it quite regularly.
Is it good for like an artist?
You guys should. like in 2017, I'll send you I'll have to add you guys on Facebook or whatever, send you my Bandcamp across, but, or you can get off my SoundCloud profile. But basically in 2017, when I started, I just did 3 EPs 1 year on Bandcamp, and then that let me get a distributor to go on Tracksource and stuff. Like I signed up with Label Works to distribute my label, which was just for my stuff. But I think Bandcamp's so good. You connect with people so much better as well. You know, people can sign up for like a mailing list or leave you tonight. Like there was this DJ Tiptoe from South Korea. She plays at a club in Seoul, and she bought my EP. But everyone who buys your EP, you can see who they are. So then I said, I know of you. Like, thanks for buying my release. And we still chat. You know.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. We've talked about it on and off, but I think we thought at the start when we were getting so much stuff done and we were working so quickly, let's just fucking make stuff all the time. Because I don't think either of us are really super business orientated. You know, that way that sometimes you need those people that have just got a bit more of a business head.
Yeah.
We're bit more kind of stonery, kind of like, hey, fuck, do this, you know what I mean?
You're doing the most important bit well.
Yeah.
But I reckon you could totally take those pictures you've taken of Manakinz and just slap them on, you know, put that on Bandcamp, self-master 3 of those demos you've got and put out your own EP. I'm seriously thinking about myself doing that. I've got this next EP series that I'm going to put out, and then once that's done, I want to be able to just take 2 tracks I make and just like slap them up there, you know.
Guys, it's been a great chat. Thanks very much for spending some time with us and talking about Manakinz and your inspos and a bit of history and how you met. It's been really great. Super excited for the release. Got Myself Together. That's coming out May 7th. I think that's the one. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Anything you guys want to close with in the last minute or two?
Harry?
Nice.
I could do an interpretive dance if you want.
Yes, you could express yourselves through the medium of dance.
That's a perfect sign-off.
That is like Manakinz.
Yes.
It's like...
How good. Awesome. Well, I think that's the perfect way to end it, guys. It's been awesome. Thanks again, Sondrio. Thank you for jumping on.
Cheers, guys. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
lovely to meet you boys.
Cool, guys.
We'll be in touch. Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay, get your pants off, Max.